You want to go to the casino, but you don't want to lose $40 at the casino. So instead, you're making a Mr. House deck, and you're going to be spending $55 on cards so you can simulate going to the casino. This deck is going to roll so many dice. It's entirely dice. Everything, you're rolling dice. Because when you roll a 4 or higher, you get a 3/3 robot artifact creature. And if you roll 6 or higher, you get that and a treasure token. And of course, Mr. House himself, you could pay 4 to tap him and roll a dice. I mean, it's okay, right? We can roll more dice. First, let's get to our mana base. You know, guys know how it is. 10 mountains, 10 plains, a swamp, clifftop retreat, command tower, nomad outpost, smoldering marsh, temple of silence, temple of triumph, commander sphere, mind stone, and soul ring. It's a simple mana base. It's easy because we're focusing on more important things, like how many dice are going to be rolling. So, to roll our dice, we have things like Comet, Stellar Pup. That's right, a planeswalker whose only ability is letting us roll a 6-sided dice. Awesome. Celebration. I'm going to try to celebrate 8,000. Celebration, you could argue. He lets you roll dice at the beginning of combat on your turn. Awesome. What else? Whatever else he does, we don't care. Chaos Chandler. When he attacks, you roll dice. That's really all we care about. Clay Golem. You can pay 6 to roll a d8. That's really all we care about. Dissatisfied Customer. When he enters the battlefield, you roll a 6-sided dice. We don't care anything else about that. Earthquake Elemental. When he attacks, whenever he enters, you roll a d20. We don't care what else he does. Herald of Hadar. Guess what? You roll a d20. You can pay 6 to do that. We don't care what else he does. Hoarding Ogre. When he attacks, you roll a d20. We don't care what else he does. Iron Mastiff. When he attacks, you roll a d20 for each player being attacked and ignore all but the highest roll. We don't really care what else he does. Lightfoot Rogue. Guess what? Whenever he attacks, you roll a d20. We don't care what else he does. Attempted Murder. You choose a target creature. You roll X 6-sided dice, where X is the number of mana you pay. We don't actually care what else it does. Circuits Act. Guess what? You roll 3 6-sided dice. We don't care what else it does. Clowning Around. You create 2 1/1 white clown robot artifacts, and then you roll 6-sided dice. We don't care what else it does. Miracle's Edict. Guess what? You're rolling a d20. We don't care. Recruitment Drive. You roll a d20. Slight Malfunction. You could destroy a target artifact, or we could roll a 6-sided dice. Guess which one we're doing? Thunderwave. Roll a d20. Valiant Effort. Roll 2d6. Contraband Livestock. You exile a creature, then roll a d20. Barbarian Class. If you would roll 1 or more dice, instead roll that many dice, +1. Awesome. Wand of Wonder. You roll a d20. We don't care what else. Treasure Chest. You pay 4 to sacrifice it, and you roll a d20. Spiked Pit Trap. You pay 5 to tap it, sacrifice it, you roll a d20. Goblin Morningstar. Guess what? It enters, you roll a d20. 6-sided dice. You choose target creature, and you roll a 6-sided dice. Who would have guessed? Swarming Goblins. Enters the battlefield, roll a d20. Farida's Fireball. Guess what? Roll a d20. And Nothic. You roll a d20. We don't care about these effects. We do, but they're mostly unimportant. We're kind of just here to roll the dice. These are all cards you would like, right? It's a lot of destroying things, exiling things, making your thing stronger. But mainly, we are just here to roll a bunch of dice. And why is that? Because it's going to create us a bunch of tokens, a bunch of creatures, a bunch of treasures. And what happens when we do? Brazen Dwarf. Whenever you roll 1 or more dice, you do 1 damage to each opponent. Awesome. Ingenious Artillerist. Guess what? When 1 or more artifacts under your control, you deal that much damage to each opponent. Jan Jensen Chaos Crafter. Guess what? You can sacrifice an artifact to get 2 treasure tokens. Think about this, right? You create your robots, you sacrifice it, you get 2 treasure tokens. Then, next turn, you can tap him to sacrifice a non-creature artifact and get 2 1/1 artifact creatures. It's an endless loop if you can find a way to untap him. I'm sure there is. I didn't put it in this deck, but God, wouldn't that be good? Mahadi, Emporium Master. At the beginning of your end step, you get a treasure token for each creature that died this turn. Mayhem Devil. Whenever a player sacrifices a permanent, he deals 1 damage to any target. We're going to be sacrificing so much stuff. We're going to be having so many tokens. More opportunists. When a creature dies, you draw a card. It's good. Nadir's Nightblade. When a token you control leaves the battlefield, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. We have 1,000,000 tokens. Uh-oh, you can't get rid of them, because guess what happens? You guys die. Reckless Fireweaver. Artifact you control enters, 1 damage to each opponent. Securitron Squadron. Guess what? Creature token enters the battlefield, he gets a +1/+1. And also, you could pay 3 any number of times to get that many of these guys. You got a lot of mana. You get a bunch of tokens. Guess what happens? Fireweaver. Guess what? The Gold Walker. Or he's Gold Waker. My bad. At the beginning of combat, your treasure tokens become 3/3 creatures. Isn't that awesome? Will, Blade of Frontiers. If you would roll 1 or more dice, and instead roll that many dice +1. Again. Awesome. And when you roll 1 more dice, he gets a +1/+1. We just don't really care because you get to roll more dice. Really all we care about. Yes, man. Personal Securitron. Guess what? You tap him. You give them to an opponent, you draw 2 cards, you get the quest counter. And if somebody even thinks about killing Yes Man, you get a 1/1 White Soldier creature token for each quest counter. It's pretty good. Organic Extinction. Uh-oh, everything that's not an artifact creature is dead. You're going to kill everybody. Sticky Fingers. Your commander or something else you put this on deals combat damage, you get a treasure token. Reign of Riches. You get 2 treasure tokens, and each spell you cast, the first spell you cast, that mana from a treasure token was used to cast, has Cascade. Night Shift of the Living Dead. Guess what? After you roll a dice, you can change the roll by paying life. Whenever you roll a 6, you get a creature token. Bastion Remembrance. Creature you control dies, each opponent loses a life. All that glitters. Put this on your commander. He gets +1/+1 for each artifact you control, which is all your artifact creatures. Agent of the Iron Throne. Your commander has when an artifact or creature you control is put in the graveyard, each opponent loses a life. They kill your tokens, they lose life. Impact Tremors. Creature you control enters, 1 damage to each opponent. It's good. And we have all the other kind of goodies in here, like Wayfarer's Bauble, and Symmetry Matrix, and Noble's Purse, Collector's Vault, Seize the Spoils, Chaos Warp, Corrupted Conviction, Costly Plunder, Critical Hit, Deadly Dispute, and Village Rights. All the good card draw goodies. This deck is going to have you rolling so many dice, all right? You're going to be at the casino in New Vegas making that money, or maybe you're going to roll a bunch of nat ones and you're going to lose the game because you made the choice to spend $10 more on cards than you did $40 at the casino. And that's the way it goes. I'm Floop Nuke, I'm shirtless, and I'll see you guys next time.